What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Work Knife Balance. We got a fun Jake Hoback knife video for you today. This is going to be the second one that we've looked at. We had one a while ago from the pass around group. This is another one in the pass around group, and I'm excited to look at this. I liked the last one. It was just a little big for my taste. So this one's a little bit smaller. We'll see how we feel about it and all that kind of jazz. But before we get too far into this, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. And after you do that, hit the little bell icon. That gives you notifications when we post content. And we're going to continue to post content, so we'd love for you to see it. You can also head over to Instagram and follow us at WorkKnifeBalance939. Communicate, let us know what you want to see, don't want to see. And if you send us product to review, we're going to send it back to you with some sweet swag like a sticker right here. So thank you very much for everyone who has already supported us. Let's dive into this knife a little bit. First off, I absolutely love the boxes that Hoback Knives sends with these. I think they're cool, but you can't really look into it too much because honestly, I don't store any of my knives in the boxes. I've got a sweet little container that holds all of them together, and then the boxes just go into a closet and sit there. So unless it's some of the like Pelican looking boxes, like I can ship stuff in and everything, these boxes, they're cool, they're nice, but it's just extra money you have to pay for on the cost of the knife. But Hoback sends one of these with every single one of their knives. This is your COA, but it also gives you all of the information right there on the knife, which is really nice. And then let's go ahead and dive in and look at this One Sam knife. So I'm excited. You get tools and everything right there. So you get 3 different tools. I'm assuming they use T6, T8s, and T10s on this. And so you've got a tool for every single one, which is kind of cool, but I wish they would just make all the hardware the same and just keep with T8. That would make it really nice and simple for everybody. First impressions, I really love how sleek and like minimalistic this knife is compared to the other one. The other one was a little bit flashier with the Mars Valley Fat Carbon on it, but I know you can get other variations of that one as well, but I really like this. The titanium has some decent action. I really like that. It is decently drop shutty, shaking it in there. Yeah, that's not too bad. So you actually have some really good action with this one, and the other one had good action as well. So I don't have anything negative to say except for it was just too big for my taste. So got a nice little front flipper on this one. Let's go ahead and start with some measurements and comparisons, and then we'll dive into the knife a little bit further here. So overall, I got just under 7.5. I'm looking at about 7.4. And then the blade length, I'm looking at 3.25 with about 3.2, 3.15 on the cutting edge there. So definitely a compact knife, much smaller than the other one we looked at. It is going to be a really good EDC knife if you like this kind of style. It's going to be a little bit heavier, heftier. I don't know if they've got any sort of skeletonization on the inside or milling. It doesn't look like it. So this is just a solid piece of titanium on the side here. So you've got a lot more weight to this knife than I would want or expect, but it's not bad by any means. We'll do some quick comparisons while we've got it out here. We'll go ahead and do the Ontario Rat 1, and we'll go ahead and pull the Ontario Rat 2. So it's going to be a little bit bigger than that Rat 2, a little bit smaller than that Rat 1 right there, which is kind of to be expected with the measurements we pulled on it. It's not a bad knife by any means. Good size for anyone who really wants to carry that compact knife right there. We'll go ahead and do the Spyderco's Para 2. And we'll go ahead and pull the Para 3 as well. Really close comparison to that Para 3, which is nice because that's a very popular knife. So if you've got one of those 4 knives, that kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking at and how you can expect this one to fit. I'm also going to pull over the riffraff because to me it seemed similar in handle size. It does seem very similar in handle size right there. So this has been one of Wee's newer knives from Christensen Knives that I really am digging. But yeah, so and it has a very similar feel when I've got it in my hand to that Christensen knife right there from Wee. So if you've got that newer one, that's a really good comparison in my opinion. Right off the bat, you've got a really flat surface to it, just titanium with chamfering around the edge. The other side is the exact same. You've got that chamfering around the edge with the flat surface to it. No micro milling or milling or anything on it, with the exception of in the relief right here. You've got some milling you can see right there, and I don't know if that's just extra relief or design or whatnot, it'd been really cool to see some sort of pattern on the actual show side and lock side of this knife to give you a little bit more flair. But sometimes a just no nonsense, simple minimal knife is really nice as well. And I think that's probably what they were going for with this. I do like the front flipper. You can have a really good access with that big front flip kind of look to it. Haven't really tried this. That's decent. I'm not the best with it, but you can get over and do that. It probably needs to be oiled a little bit some too as well. You've got a really generous back spacer here, which is adding a lot of weight to the knife. There's no skeletonization on the inside, as we've kind of looked at already and stuff. So these are just 2 solid pieces of titanium, but that adds a lot more weight in there. Does protect the blade quite a bit, so you can't really get in here on the backside or anything. So it's kind of nice, but it's definitely a hefty knife. You've got your little lanyard spot down here at the bottom, which is cool, and it is ambidextrous, so you can switch that pocket clip to the other side as well, which is pretty cool. Lefty nice, there we go. You got a swedge on this blade here. This is a kind of a spear point, I guess. It's not really, I guess it's kind of in between a drop point and a spear. It's not a true spear because it doesn't come together, but I mean, I guess it's a drop point blade. We'll just say that. It's a drop point blade. You've got a nice swedge at the top there giving you some good lines to it. It is a really nice looking blade. Really good ergos on this too. The way that they've kind of cut these, you got the 2, and I've got, I would say, average hands. I wear a large size glove, which doesn't mean I have large hands. It means I'm an average American. So I've got average size hands, and I would say this fits nice. It doesn't fully come out to, I like when a knife can kind of nestle in there with a little bit more space. And if I'm doing that, I'm choking up to where it's uncomfortable. So it fits comfortably, but it's not full. It doesn't fit fully in my hand, if that makes sense. I think that's because it's a little bit thinner down here, but it is nice, good ergos on it. I'd like to see the jimping up a little bit all the way until that swedge starts would give you a little bit more. The jimping stopping right here gives you nothing where your thumb's actually going to hit, but that jimping I think is solely for the front flip right there. It's not for any sort of grip on the backside with that. You can do a nice reverse carry, and that actually feels really good right there. So yeah, I don't know. These are about $400. I believe they're $425. You can get them on Knife Center. I've seen them on a couple other websites as well. For $425, would I buy it? Maybe. There's 2 or 3 other versions, I believe, as well, and I'd say it's worth $400, but I don't know if I would buy it for $400. That flipper is really minimal on the backside. The action is good. I like the knife. I like that it's got the One Sam, and it almost looks like I Sam because you're not expecting that to be a number, but One Sam Hoback right there. I don't like the way they put that like that. So I mean, when you're carrying it, it's down there, but I would expect something a little bit different. So yeah, I would expect, I don't know, I would expect a little bit more for $425. There's a couple videos out there now talking about this, but there's a lot of makers and a lot of designers who are raising the cost on their knives purely because they think they can sell it. But I don't know if this is worth it. I think you're paying a lot more for kind of this stuff that goes with the knife. I'd rather have a cardboard box and a zipper case and lower the cost to $350 or $325, and then this knife would be out of the park for me, rather than $425, $450, and you're paying for all that extra stuff that really doesn't mean anything after you open the knife, after you open the box and go with it. So that's my personal opinion. I do think the knife is nice. I do think it's functional. I think it's sharp. I think it's got a nice belly to it, a really good blade. I really like just the aesthetics, and the ergos of it are really nice, but I would have a hard time. I have a hard time breaking that $400 barrier on a knife that is just, for lack of a better term, plain Jane. It is very minimalistic, very slim, very sleek. I don't know what went into this knife, and that's because I'm not as experienced as a lot of other reviewers, but I don't know what went into this knife to make it $425. They're getting it manufactured overseas where everything's a little bit cheaper. It looks like, honestly, they're paying for the production of this stuff and adding it to the cost of the knife, which makes sense, but I would rather less expensive shipping materials and everything and a less expensive knife, because this to me is a $300 to $350 knife. I just don't know if I'd do $425. I will put the link below though for you, so y'all can check it out and you can see these. I do think they are cool knives. I like this one a lot better than the other Hoback that we looked at. The other one was just too big and not my style. This one is much more my style, and I like it a lot. Just that's a really steep price range. Breaking that $400, you really got to have something for me, and this doesn't quite do it for me. So that's my honest opinion for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll play with this a little bit. We'll see some shorts. We'll have some fun stuff. Go ahead and post this in a couple days probably. But until next time, TTFN.